From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for wrapping up your work week with MTN. I'm Tim McGonigal. It's been 19 years since the events of 9/11. Nearly 3,000 people were killed during the attacks in New York, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C., including more than 400 firefighters, EMTs, and police officers. First responders and Montana leaders gathered at the state capitol today to honor them and the sacrifice all first responders make in the line of duty.
Today, we remember the thousands of Americans that have lost their loved ones and didn't have the opportunity to say goodbye. A day in which we are reminded of the extraordinary sacrifices America's first responders come face to face with every single time they are in the line of duty.
Meanwhile, in Great Falls, first responders held their ceremonies virtually. Great Falls Fire Rescue Interim Fire Chief Jeremy Jones said that the day changed the future not only for our country, but for those men and women whose job it is to protect as first responders. And as they direct their actions towards their communities, they ask the community directs their thoughts towards national unity.
With everything going on in our nation today, it's a better time than ever to remember the unity that we all achieved after such a tragic event.
Cemeteries in Great Falls have a new look in honor of 9/11. This morning, students decorated graves with 1,700 flags to honor those who lost their lives after the attacks. 30 high school students from CMR and Great Falls High placed 1,200 flags on graves at Highland Cemetery. They also dropped off 500 flags at Mount Olivet. The event was put on by the school district's JROTC program. It's military regulated and teaches students things like leadership. Although most of them only learned about 9/11 in history books, many of them come from military families and say the day brings special meaning.
Those soldiers who died for their family and those who are going to go in service, their devotion to the country is very important. So it's very important for us to remember and learn about it as a generation.
Those flags were donated to the school district by a local community member. AmeriCorps held a day of service at First Peoples Buffalo Jump State Park near Ulm. Volunteers spent a few hours this morning working on the park's trail. They replaced gravel that had washed away, flattened out some parts of the trail, and created some drainage areas to prevent water from building up on the trail.
It makes me feel really great. I'm really happy with how this event turned out. We have about 30 people coming out, and so I'm really proud of this community for stepping up.
Norland says the goal was to pay tribute to the people who died on 9/11 by giving back to the community. Well, new tonight, 2 flags have reportedly been stolen from the Lewis and Clark Veterans Memorial. According to the Lewis and Clark Memorial Foundation, the Marine flag and the Prisoner of War Missing in Action flag have been stolen. The flagpoles were also vandalized. Police suspect vandals stole the flag and damaged the monument sometime between last night and this morning. The foundation says someone called Montana Flag and Pole and noted the flags were down. When Montana Flag and Pole arrived, they discovered the flagpoles had been broken into and the flags were missing. Montana Flag and Pole alerted the police and the foundation to the damage and missing items. The chair of the Lewis and Clark Foundation, U.S. Major General retired Gene Prendergast, says he's disappointed.
Is hurtful and also disrespectful is what they did to the Lewis and Clark Veterans Memorial. And like I said earlier, after 9/11, we came together as a country and we were one country. And I think we need to do that again so this doesn't happen again.
A police report was filed and the foundation hopes to replace the flags soon. They say it will cost them about $700 to fix the flagpoles and buy new flags. Well, there's not a lot of summer weekends left, but this one should be fairly warm. Here's Elizabeth Copeland with your first forecast.
It's a beautiful day across north, central, and northeast Montana where high pressure has moved in, and that's going to be settling in for the rest of the weekend. Our Opportunity Bank iCam out of Helena right now. Blue skies overhead, barely a cloud in sight, and we're not seeing any precipitation really through the next couple of days as that high pressure continues to take hold of our state. So in the capital city tonight, we go from the 80s this afternoon to the 40s those overnight hours, clear skies. Again, not a cloud in the sky as you wake up tomorrow morning. Not too many worries of freezing temperatures over the next few days as we top out in the 80s through the weekend. A few clouds possible on Sunday afternoon, but that high pressure is going to take hold. Keep that drier air and sunshine in for us all weekend. Now, as we head into the weekend, though, since that warm air from the southwest is moving in, we're also going to see some hazy conditions. So while it might be sunny outside, we'll see some wildfire smoke moving into our state. We talk fluctuating air quality coming up here shortly.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Well, after a few positive COVID-19 cases in the Great Falls School District, some parents are trying to switch their kids to remote learning with no luck. Michael Troyer's daughter is a student at Great Falls High. After the 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 at the high school, Michael says his daughter asked if she could transition to the remote learning program. When Michael called the school the next morning, he says he was told that several options were available, but moving his daughter to fully remote learning was not one of them. He tells MTN News that district officials said they were getting a lot of similar requests.
When he told me there was a wait list for going to online. So that tells me that I'm not the first inquiry, and he says the wait list keeps growing and growing every day.
We reached out to the district office, and Superintendent Tom Moore said that enrollment for remote learning was cut off in July so that the district could figure out staffing needs. He said that according to state accreditation standards, the district cannot assign more than 150 students to one teacher. He also added there is a wait list for remote learning, and they are trying to work with the students on a case-by-case basis to meet their needs. Well, as you may know, Montana and national Republicans have filed suit to block Governor Steve Bullock's order that allowed Montana counties to choose an all-mail ballot for the general election. But as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, campaigns for top Republican candidates actually pushed for 2 of the largest Republican-leaning counties to adopt all-mail ballots.
As of today, 46 Montana counties have chosen to go to all-mail ballots for the November 3rd election because of concerns related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Republican lawsuits filed in the past 2 weeks say using all-mail ballots could lead to voter fraud or cause some ballots not to be counted. Yet, as counties decided what to do, the campaigns of U.S. Senator Steve Daines and gubernatorial candidate Greg Gianforte pushed officials in Ravalli and Flathead counties to choose all-mail ballots. The campaigns were concerned that without all-mail ballots, voter turnout in these heavily Republican counties might be depressed, which could make a difference in a close race. Daines is locked in a tight Senate race against Governor Bullock, and Gianforte is battling Democrat Mike Cooney for governor in another contest that could be close. Ravalli County decided August 25th to use all-mail ballots, and on September 3rd, the Flathead County Commission in Kalispell, on a 2-to-1 vote, reversed its earlier decision not to use all-mail ballots. Commissioner Randy Brodell, who was the no vote against all-mail ballots, told MTN News the Daines campaign contacted him and said mail ballots could mean a better turnout. Brodell said he did not think that influencing the election is a good reason to use mail ballots. Ravalli County Republican Central Committee Chair Terry Nelson said he opposes the all-mail ballot. But he says if big Democratic-leaning counties were doing it, he felt that Ravalli County should too, so Republicans wouldn't be disadvantaged. The Gianforte and Daines campaign told MTN News that they just want to make sure that all Montanans have access to the same voting options to avoid confusion. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Well, tomorrow will be an historic day for Montana. Details on a submarine that will bear the state's name when we come back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. The Navy submarine that will bear the name of the great state of Montana is set to be christened. Crews have been getting ready for tomorrow's ceremony, which will be held virtually in Virginia. The Montana SSN 794 is nuclear-powered fast attack submarine and will be one of the most powerful lethal warships in the fleet. The USS Montana Commissioning Committee will be responsible for building relationships with the sailors over the coming years and also giving the submarine a Montana theme.
I think all Montanans should be proud of the fact that we will have one of the leading-edge warships in the country, defending our country, being on guard, on scene, unseen, in dangerous places, a little more than probably a year from now once she commissions into the fleet. The commander, the crew, the shipbuilders have all pulled together in a difficult time to get the USS Montana where she is now.
And that was Bill Whitsitt of the USS Montana Commissioning Committee. Now, the last time Montana had a ship named after it was 1908. Billings already has a Navy warship named after it. That was commissioned into service last summer. Some Fergus County business owners are excited and maybe a little apprehensive ahead of a festival this weekend that could bring thousands of people to their town. The 31st annual Chokecherry Festival takes place all day tomorrow in Lewistown. It typically draws about 5,000 people. Lewistown's Chamber of Commerce Executive Director says changes have been made to try to spread people out. There will also be masks and numerous hand sanitizing stations available.
A lot of it's outdoors, so that'll be good. I just don't really know if I'm supposed to limit the number of people that come in or use the bathrooms, things like that.
And for more information about the festival, you can click on the link to this story on our website.
Warmer temperatures are on the way from the southwest this weekend, but it also is going to bring in wildfire smoke, which we'll track here coming up shortly.
Stormtracker Weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
Welcome back on this Friday evening, getting ready for those weekend plans. Well, tonight, if you're even heading out to walk the dog a little later, we're still going to track the 60s and 70s in the forecast for a few more hours. Still going to have a while to go before we hit those overnight lows early tomorrow morning, but we're going to hold steady in the 70s and 60s really until later on this evening, about midnight. So great time to get out there, maybe a quick dog walk this 10 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour before we start seeing those temperatures really start to drop through the overnight hours. Now, speaking of temperature drops, on Monday we were at 25 degrees below average, usually topping out in the mid 70s this time of year. 25 degrees below average to today we were 13 degrees above average. So very quick change in temperatures there. That warmer air is starting to move in from the southwest. That's bringing that very warm and dry air in for us. And so over the next couple of hours for Great Falls, as you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be in the 60s already by 10 a.m. and then climbing to the 70s already by noon, 80s by 3, and we're going to be in the mid 80s later on in the afternoon. So big warm up in store for us for the overnight hours, and then even through tomorrow afternoon. That warm up is not done yet. We're going to keep warming up through the end of the weekend. So this high pressure is going to settle in on us. I don't know why the upper level map is not showing, but imagine that air is wrapping around this high pressure system. Our system knows that it's Friday. It's taking a break already, but not quite done yet, system. So some more of that air is going to wrap around this high pressure, and that's going to bring in that dry, warm air, not only Saturday, but Sunday as well. So as that warm air wraps around, that's where we're going to get those temperatures that skyrocket in the mid 80s. Very dry air for us, again, watching fire danger after we were on snow watch on Monday, but it's also going to do something else. It's also going to bring upper level air from places like Northern California, Oregon, Washington, over into central and even parts of northeast Montana. That's going to allow wildfire smoke to move into our areas, especially with those places like Washington and Oregon, where those major wildfires are burning right now. All that smoke is going to be lifted, pulled over, especially through the end of the weekend, right into our area in central and then northeast Montana. So this afternoon, Lookout Pass, one of the first places that's going to see the wildfire smoke, is already a little hazy out there. It was a little hazy earlier this afternoon. We're going to see more of that haze through the evening hours, and then by tomorrow, while we stay sunny and dry, we're going to have that layer of smoke moving in, and it's going to settle down as that high pressure is moving over our area, and that smoke is going to settle down into those valleys and over those mountains over really the next few days. So if you are sensitive to smoke this weekend, you might want to take a break from the hike. And if you're sensitive to warm temperatures, definitely taking a break from the hike, because we're going to be in the 80s, even 90s on Sunday in some parts of northeast Montana. So that warming trend is going to make us very hot. We're going to get air quality fluctuations basically all weekend with that heavy smoke moving in. So hiking is going to be great, at least dry, but we are going to be dealing with that extra wildfire smoke in our area. Now, as the high pressure does break down in our next 6 to 10 day outlook, we're going to get more of that wetter weather starting to slowly moving our way. But for northeast Montana, we'll still see drier than average conditions, and very likelihood of warmer than average conditions are going to remain in the forecast over the next 6 to 10 days. So summer's not quite over yet for Great Falls as we hit 82 on Sunday. On Monday, 86. When that high pressure starts to break down on Tuesday, that's when we're going to get those isolated showers in the forecast. So besides a dry, warm weekend, we're going to see that wildfire smoke even in the capital city before we hit 75 on Tuesday, taking that drop as isolated showers move in.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Well, the long-awaited AA football season is here. We have the highlights from opening night next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. AA football teams in Montana finally got the chance to take the field tonight, and some big games made up the schedule. Our Tom Wiley kicks things off for us.
Getting ready to kick off this season here at Memorial Stadium. CMR hosting Belgrade. Good opportunity for both teams. For the Rustlers, a chance to get their first win under new head coach Dennis Morris. For Belgrade, a chance to show that they belong in Class AA. In the first quarter, the Rustlers strike first. From 10 yards out on 4th down, A.J. LaFurge works his way in for a score. Makes it 7-0 CMR. In the second, Belgrade looking for something. Austin Spangler swallowed up by the Rustler defense. That's a sack. Later on in the quarter, Rafe Newbro from 10 yards out bounces to the outside. Finds the angle. He's in for 6 on the keeper. Make it 14-0 Rustlers. Offense just hard to come by for the Panthers. Spangler finds Cedric Miller Jr. for a first down, but no points on the ensuing drive. Less than a minute in the half, Newbro fakes the handoff, finds Wyatt Hagan for a wide open touchdown. Rustlers with a commanding 20-0 lead at the break. Here is your final score. Reporting from Memorial Stadium, Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
AA football is back, and Gallatin High is taking on Great Falls, looking for their first ever win in school history. Opening kickoff, and Great Falls will receive the ball. Senior Levi Torgerson would put the Bison on the board right away as he makes a couple nifty moves to have nothing but daylight in front of him, and he finds pay dirt. Bison up 7 after the PAT. Midway through the first, Braden Michelson drops back to pass for the Raptors, but his pass is sniped out of the air by Torgerson, who returns it for a touchdown. Bison up by 14 after the extra point. Down by 21, Raptors desperately needing points, and Michelson finds Ryan Schlepp, who takes this one to the house. Gallatin down 21-7. Looking to create more separation after recovering a Michelson fumble, Ryan Crawhey punches this one in from close. That puts the Bison up 28-7. They go into the half up 34-14, and here is your final score. In Bozeman.
For the first time this year, high school football is rolling in the capital city. The Helena High Bengals playing host to the Butte Bulldogs tonight here at Vigilante Stadium. The Bulldogs runners-up in the Class AA state championship game last year falling to Bozeman. The Helena High Bengals looking to vie for that Western AA Conference championship spot. That starts here tonight. Let's get into the highlights.
First quarter, Butte's Blake Dracos lofts one on the near sideline to Banner Citraro, but the pass broken up by David Lowry. Hewitt moving to his left, brought down by Max Demarais for the sack. Butte finally able to break the tie with a field goal by Casey Councilman. They're up 3-0 now near the end of the half. Bengals with 30 yards to traverse in 30 seconds, but no dice. The pocket collapses on Hewitt, and Aiden Lee and Dominic Scown combined for the sack for the Bulldogs. It's 3-0, your score at the half. Not even 30 seconds into the second half, though. The Bengals showed some fire. Hewitt hits a quick slant to Chase McGurn, bounces off a defender, and he is as good as gone. Over 70 yards for the score. The Bengals up 7-3 after the point after. And here is your final score. Reporting in Helena, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
I'm Sean Wells here in Kalispell at Legends Stadium for Week 1 of Class 2A football. Tonight's matchup is the Glacier Wolfpack versus the Helena Capital Bruins. Let's get to the action. A 2-yard run by Glacier's Jake Rendina put the Wolfpack on the board first up 7-0 with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Helena Capital would match the score with a 30-yard sling from QB Matt Burton, finding Eric Cockell in the end zone for a 30-yard score. A direct snap to Jake Rendina from the 1-yard line would find the end zone, tying the game up at 14-all with 8 seconds left in the first half. Rendina's second touchdown of the game would keep the score tied at 14-all at halftime. That's all for me at Legends Stadium. You can find more right now at montanasports.com.
Week 1 of football is finally here in Havre, where the Blue Ponies are opening their season against Laurel. Now, the Locomotives are your runner-up in Class A last season, so tonight should provide plenty of fireworks. Let's dive into the action. Picking this one up in the first quarter, Blue Ponies went 3 and out to start. Here's Laurel. Quarterback Eli Abe airs it out to Jack Waddell, who slips a tackle, and there's no one in his way. Locomotives score on 3rd and long. 7-0, they take the lead. Here they have good field position again, but the Pony defense have something to say. Braden Winchell, fumble recovery there. Havre's got it back, but they would punt again, and watch this. Waddell deep to receive. making a couple of guys miss. He turns the corner and he's got some room to work down the sideline. About 55 yards on the return. Waddell takes it to the house, 14-0 Laurel. Second quarter now, Locos driving again. Ponies need to stand, and how about Kellen Dietrich? Monster sack there, but this one was all Laurel. There's a look at your final. In Havre, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
I'm Matt Holzaffel, and a matchup perfect for the Wild West. The 1-1 Conrad Cowboys hosted the 1-0 Malta Mustangs on Friday night. Let's get to the highlights.
We picked this one up near the end of the first quarter. Malta's Cooper Oxerod uncorks a bomb, which is hauled in by Rex Williamson for a huge gain, but that was about it for the offensive highlights in the first half of this one. Later in the second quarter, toss to Sean Gilkerson on the end around, but Brady Bachma of Conrad says absolutely not in my house. Close to halftime now, Cash Salisbury hauls this one in and is able to break loose. We call those yak, yards after the catch for Cash. A few plays later, however, Oxerod's pass is picked off by Roper Mickey, who shows off some shifty moves of his own. Teams went into halftime locked in a 0-0 duel. There's a look at your final score. In Conrad, Matt Holzaffel, MTN Sports.
All right, an exciting night, and for more scores and highlights and interviews from games all across the Treasure State, you can head on over to montanasports.com. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Plenty of skies are going to be clear and dry this weekend. 85 on Saturday, and in north central Montana, 82 on Sunday. We're going to see a drop in temperatures on Tuesday and Wednesday as clouds build in. That ridge breaks down. Isolated showers are in the forecast Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. But until then, expect dry conditions and wildfire smoke to settle in this weekend.
Finally, tonight, an exceptionally rare diamond may soon become one of the world's most expensive. The 102-carat oval diamond will go up for auction at Sotheby's in Hong Kong. It was cut from a rough diamond discovered in Ontario, Canada back in 2018 and has achieved top rankings in each of the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat weight. The flawless diamond has the highest grading for a white diamond, classified as D color. Diamonds of similar size and quality have previously attracted bids between $12 million and over $30 million. Bidding begins in mid-September, but will conclude with a live auction October 5th. All right, that's all the time we have. Have a great weekend. Join the weekend crew tomorrow. We'll see you on Monday.